guy who's been in the position that Cooper found himself in last night. Just talk about his ability to execute and do everything you wanted to do in that game, and just kind of how you prepared with him in the week leading up to it.
Cooper did a phenomenal job. Obviously, those are challenging circumstances, especially in a circumstance in which you don't know for sure if you're starting or not. You got to prepare like you are, but there's obviously some potential for it to go the other way. And he prepared really, really well. Thought he got more and more comfortable as the game went on, progressed really well, and took advantage of some opportunities and made some plays as it went down the stretch.
Does your experience in 2015 help you when you're making your first start as a guy? Do you go back and think, this is what I really liked or wanted and I needed from an OC?
I think certainly there's some value in your own personal experience, but last year we had Andy had an opportunity, Garrett had an opportunity, Ben had an opportunity, and so we kind of went through situations that I think helped ultimately help us all grow through those experiences. And so I felt like we were prepared, we handled it well. I think the entire group responded really, really well. I think there was a lot of confidence with Coop going in there with the entire group that we're going to continue to play at a high level, and I think guys handled it really, really well.
Did you gain confidence? I'm sorry. Did you gain confidence throughout the game? It seemed like you didn't hold anything back. You were aggressive and calling shots down the field and everything else.
I think that was the approach based off the flow of the game. I felt like we got receivers that we feel really, really confident about, and there were some opportunities that presented itself, and we felt Coop was in a good place, and we got to continue to attack guys the way they're presenting us with opportunities. And so I think our guys handled it really, really well. That's a really tough, challenging environment. It's one of the top ones in the league, that place. It's challenging to play, the noise, all that stuff. So for our guys to be able to handle all that this game, huge credit to them.
Sometimes the mindset of being conservative when you have a new starter and a backup who hasn't played much, but you weren't necessarily a conservative. Did that speak to Cooper, your confidence in offense? What did that speak to?
Yeah, I guess, certainly credit to Cooper. I didn't feel like we were going to have to play that game a drastically different style. I felt like Coop's been around here for a long time. I know Coop really, really well, and feel like he knows what we want to accomplish throughout this game, and I think he handled it really well. And obviously, as the game flowed, it takes you different places, and felt like there were some passing opportunities, and we ended up probably throwing it, maybe more than people expected.
Can you take us through the genesis of package like the Hulk, and do you take full credit for that, and just how long have you been brewing on that, knowing that Lyall was coming back eventually?
We have a ton of talent on the offensive line, and like all the other positions, you're trying to find opportunities to get guys involved in the game plan. And so LC was coming back. Obviously, he hadn't been a part of it for a number of weeks, and so we felt like, if he wasn't going to be the right tackle, that's a guy you still want on the field. And so kind of turned into a brainstorm opportunity there. Mac's been doing a phenomenal job in the backfield, McGovern that is, and why not throw another guy back there? And so felt like it gave us a good opportunity. We ran it 4 times, and felt like all 4 were nice opportunities for us with a couple runs, a couple passes. They get into one-on-one opportunities outside, and so always looking for different ways to get guys involved, and we'll continue to do that.
Was that one of those deals where Kyle and you guys scheme up these things on your Tuesdays or whatever you told us, or when did that kind of come to you?
That's a great question. I think we were just brainstorming within Jeff, Joe, Mike, the whole offensive staff, just going through the process of how can we put our guys in maybe a different position, something that they haven't seen coming off a bye week. And certainly Mike ran that formation a number of times back in the Green Bay days with their fullbacks, and so something that all those guys obviously had a lot of comfort level with, and so we wanted to go down that road, and maybe there's more things coming off it.
Good for the offense, but also good for Lyall, who hadn't played, and just get him involved mentally. Like, okay, I'm a part of this as well.
Certainly, I think the more guys you get involved in packages and roles and different things, that helps the individual, but it also helps the entire offense. Just being able to play a number of guys in that game, and receivers are a part of packages, tight ends, running backs. I think we got a lot of guys that we can utilize, and we want to try and use as many of them as we can.
Who gets credit for the fun name Hulk?
I don't know. I don't even know who named it. Let's go Chase Hazlitt.
Coaches talk about next man up. It seems like that would be easier said than done, but for you guys specifically on offense, with what Terrence Steele's done and Cedric and then now Cooper, just how big has that been for you guys?
It's certainly a saying a lot of people use. when there's a lot of evidence to it, I think guys build more momentum into being able to handle those situations. And we've had a number of guys who've been able to step up in some situations where we lost other guys, and they've taken advantage of opportunities and potentially grown their own roles along the way. And so I feel like we're in a great spot. Our guys respond really well to this stuff. Playing on the road at Minnesota, first start, there's a lot of natural emotions to go with that. Without Dak on the field, he's certainly the leader. But guys rallied around Coop, and they knew we were going to find a way.
I think you've had 5 starters now in the last 23 games. You're always trying to fit the skill set of the quarterback with the game plan, but have you changed at all during this process? Do you streamline it, or how do you go about it since you've had to do it so often as far as how do you fit it? Do you fit it on this end to that, or the quarterback end of what you're doing?
I would say it's a combination. Steering it too far just exclusively to the quarterback, and now you're limiting the other 10 people on the field. And if you go the other way, you're not putting your quarterback maybe in the best situation to be successful. And so, fortunately for me, like I said, I've been around Coop since 2017. We know each other really well, understand the game plan, understand the player that Coop is and the things that he's going to do to be successful, and he's got a number of ways that he can play. And we felt very comfortable with being able to play a very similar approach there with Coop, even if Dak wasn't going to be able to play.
What was Dak like during the game?
Got to be a coach, got to throw the headset on. He was awesome. He's obviously still the leader on the sideline. Great communication. I think it's good to have him on the sideline. I enjoyed it because he's able to view it maybe from a different lens and have those conversations with me. Hey, what do you see about this and that? And maybe there's something to that he'll be able to take away, just being on the sideline and viewing a game from a different perspective right there. Because certainly last year he wasn't on the sideline when he had the injury, and so if you see it from that lens, maybe he got something out of it as well, hopefully.
Travis, after he had been on the headset back a couple of years ago, had said that was really helpful for him. What's your philosophy when you have a guy on the headset? You're telling Dak, like, hey, listen, but don't say anything. He's cutting off the mic so he can't.
No, Dak, he listens to everything on there. When we had those, Travis was a great example a few years ago. Those guys are fully on it. They're a part of the headsets. If they see something, say something. Now, Dak was probably a little bit more he was near me most of the game, and so we were able to have those conversations without, creating too much noise on the headsets when there's a number of people on there, but it was awesome.
How close did he come to playing in your mind, or did you kind of think he was?
Yeah, we just took it all the way up to the end, and we knew there were circumstances and different potential outcomes with that thing, but we felt comfortable with how we'd handle it no matter what.
You said you. Go ahead.
Having called the game for Cooper now, how did it inform how you would call another one for him?
I would say with Coop, I think the game played out the way we had hoped, and we were operating the same way. Coop handled a lot of adjustments. That place, again, playing on the road and playing in one of the loudest environments in the NFL. There's a lot of challenging circumstances with that, and I thought the process was really good. The operation was good. I think we had to call one timeout because we kind of got in a goofy play call probably on my end. And other than that, the operation ran really smooth, and I think that's the biggest thing. When the operation feels the same, the whole offense kind of gravitates towards that and feels the flow of the game and the tempo and all those sorts of things. And I think that naturally kind of builds the confidence of everyone. And, if for a circumstance that presents itself, if he has an opportunity to play again, I think the expectation would be that he plays that way again.
Amari was walking us through his mindset of, okay, I've got the hamstring, but I think I can do the fade. I'll just release it a little bit differently. How in tune is he with his body, and what does it say about him both mentally and physically that he can both decide he'll go back in and complete the play?
Yeah, obviously Amari is a premier player in this league. He's got a great sense of football and his body, obviously, most importantly, but just his sense of football and how to attack players and whatnot. And for me, the biggest and most enjoyable aspect of Amari has been just his growth as a communicator. He's very, very much communicating throughout the game. Hey, what about this? Hey, I see this. This guy's playing this leverage now. This guy's playing here. Let's go to this play. And CD, the same thing. And so I think our guys are just growing in that level that, we're in constant communication, constant adjustment football, kind of finding our different spots that we can attack people. And the more you have those guys, ultimately, those are the guys that make plays. If they see something, usually if a guy sees something, likes a play, they're going to find a way to make it work. And so I love the conversations.
Kellen, when did you get the confidence in Cedric Wilson to put the ball in his hands and make those decisions to throw it?
His Boise State days, he did it all the time. So, no, Ced's been that type of guy. He's done a great job for us. Obviously, early in his career, he didn't get a ton of opportunities. He found those spots here and there to, get in the games. He played scout team QB a few times, over the years when we played a guy who ran around. He's just a football player. He's just one of those guys. He's an athlete. He can probably line up and be successful in a bunch of sports. And he's really smart. I mean, you guys saw the throw. I'm not going to lie. That wasn't the exact design of the play. He turned into a scramble drill and threw a ball on the sideline that we'd all say is a really impressive throw for a quarterback in the National Football League, not just a receiver. So it's pretty awesome.
Kellen, kind of to David's question about 5 different starting quarterbacks this last season, certainly not ideal, but as a young play caller, how much did that help you grow in this position? Or was this kind of a special case with you because you know him so well in terms of what he does well?
Yeah, obviously with Coop, I've been around him a number of times, so I felt certainly comfortable with him. But I think each step of the way, when we deal with injuries, adversity, different adjustments that we have to make, I think you're growing each and every way. And so, obviously quarterbacks, offensive line injuries that pop up here and there, other positions, we're always going through these things. And I think each step of the way, the more you go through these things, the more you're going to look back and say, I like that, I didn't like that, and continue to progress.
You guys do have a history with Cooper. Yet when he was here last year, you chose to start Gilbert. What has he done in the last year to make that decision different for you guys? What have you seen from him? Because you could have started him last year against Pittsburgh. You didn't.
Yeah, Garrett did a really good job at Pittsburgh, or at home versus Pittsburgh, excuse me. And Coop had just gotten back to us, that week. And so Coop was ready to go if the opportunity presented itself. But we felt like Garrett had been in the building for a few weeks. When Coop came back, a lot of the passing game had stayed the same, but a lot of the run game had kind of evolved and some of the language had changed. And so felt really, really comfortable with Garrett in that game. He gave us a tremendous opportunity. He played really well against Pittsburgh. And, we kept both of them throughout the rest of the season just because we had some quarterback, back and forth a little bit. Felt like there was some value to having more depth in the room the rest of the way. And, this offseason, we let training camp play itself out. Had to make a really difficult decision with Garrett and Coop. And love both those guys. I think they're both good quarterbacks and good football players. And, Coop ended up staying here, and he took advantage of an opportunity.
With Tyron's situation, do you anticipate getting Leo and Steele some look on the left side as well this week, or how do you figure that out?
Yeah, there's potential there, and we'll just kind of see how this week progresses. Obviously, early in the week, kind of got to balance out the game plan versus where our reps are through the week. We just played a long Sunday night game, and so obviously you got to be smart with the reps as the week progresses. But obviously LC is getting back into this thing, and so we'll see where ultimately this thing settles in.
All right. Thanks, Kellen.
All right, thanks guys.